Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Green Factor, a show where we talk about green design and the business of sustainability. I'm your host, Haris the Green Carpenter, and today we'll be talking about growth of sustainable businesses. Today, with me, I have Claire, the founder of Hive. She's a good friend of mine. We've done business together, and we keep in touch and all that. So I'm happy to have her here right now with us, and today she'll be sharing her stories and some insight on the sustainable business that we can learn and share experience. So Claire, how are you?
I'm good, Harriet. How are you? So happy to be here.
So, for the benefit of our listeners, Claire, would you introduce yourself and share a little bit of your journey and how you come into the Hive and how's it been?
Okay, in 2 seconds. I'm Claire. I'm the founder of the Hive Eco Store. I'm originally French, and my parents have always been in sustainability in a way. Like I'm a, I'm a woman of a certain age, and we were recycling already in the 80s in my household. Now I traveled, I lived in New York for 10 years, and then I lived in Hong Kong for 10 years before moving to Kuala Lumpur. And in 2010 in Hong Kong, I decided to move zero waste rather than just recycle, because in Hong Kong, I realized the recycling was not real recycling. And it was actually the waste, our waste was actually being incinerated. And from then on, it's been a journey, a lifetime changing experience, and eye opening experience for sure. When I moved to KL in 2015, I wanted to continue my zero waste journey, but I couldn't source some of the products you need in your daily life, like laundry powder in bulk, bamboo toothbrushes, solid soap, those kind of things. So I decided to open a zero waste concept store. Unbeknown to me, it was the first zero waste concept store in Southeast Asia. So that was back in early 2016 then. And ever since, it's been an amazing journey.
Nice, nice, nice. Thank you very much for doing that jump or that first mover, because right now we are seeing a lot more zero waste shop popping. Do you know what's the latest around Malaysia? We have how many?
I do not know. At least 50, 70,
At least,
which
right?
is
At
a
least,
lot.
right?
Yeah,
So
which
last
is
time there
a lot.
was none.
But I didn't even know. Ignorance is bliss, naivete. Uh, but ever since, it's been amazing to see the awareness within 5 years. I mean,
And
the world totally changed in
correct.
just 5 years.
And then you also do a lot of talks, share a lot of your stories, and also encourage zero waste lifestyle. So it's moving now to what we want to see more, right? Like for
Exactly.
example, when I do, because like we are one of the pioneer in sustainable wood manufacturing, and
Mhm.
I do activism work in terms of getting more business to produce sustainable products. And now we are seeing a lot more of this business. Whether to my friends or contacts or in general, we are seeing a lot of more of this company, and it's a good thing. It looks like competition for us. It is in a way, but the market is so big. So like I think 70. If it's 70, then that's an amazing number compared to last time. When do
Zero,
you first started? When was it?
zero. There was no one, no one. There was not
This is
even Bali
which
or
year?
Singapore.
What
Yeah,
what year? This is what year?
early 2016,
So like within 5 years, such a
within
big
five
jump.
years.
So,
Amazing. I mean, it
so
took 2 years. For 2 years, I was alone, though. For 2 years, it was
now you have more friends.
a desert, alone, alone, alone. But I did a lot of workshops on composting, edible gardening, circular economy, living zero waste, the benefits, fun things. And then I met amazing people along the way. And you know how when you meet people and then it gives you energy and you give energy to the others as well, and then it creates more. So this is how everything
Mm.
snowballs. So sometimes you just need a crazy lady to start something, and then I don't do anything. People are just looking from far and they're like, she's insane. But then it inspires them. Um, so it's good and it's amazing. And I know you just had my friend Melissa Tan.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We come up with crazy ideas all the time together as well on the sustainable journey. So this is how things. Melissa was one of my first customers.
Yeah, she's doing amazing work, and I love what she's doing as well. Since you've
Exactly.
touched about zero waste, let's talk more about that. Why is it important?
Zero waste. So I moved to the zero waste journey again in 2010 in Hong Kong. And it was very important because, see, for me, I'm a child of recycling. So for me, recycling was a solution. And I'm an economist as well, by trade. So for me, recycling was the solution. But then, once, as mentioned before, in Hong Kong, I realized they were not recycling. So you remove that option for me from, when I was, because I was consuming pretty much everything in the app, believing all my waste will be recycling. I was composting as well, but recycling or composted. And when you remove that option to me, then I was like, what am I going to do with my waste? And I had to rethink everything. And it was already in Hong Kong, but Hong Kong is very challenging. You have very little space. So it's very hard to as well rethink the way you consume in a very teeny tiny space. I find it easier to live zero waste actually in Kuala Lumpur. And so for me, the journey started there. And then why is it so important to live zero waste? Zero waste sounds maybe a bit too harsh. Like zero, it's hard. You don't have to live zero waste. You have to start the journey. If you end up living zero waste, that's amazing and that's really, really good, and you will feel really good about it as well. But the important thing here is to start consuming less and better. So it's always reuse, it's refuse, it's reduce, it's rethink the way you consume, it's composting, it's all living through all those motors before putting anything in the trash, which will end up in landfills or worse, in the sea. So that's the zero waste journey. It starts very small. I always tell people, if you want to start that journey, there's a lot abundance of material now online, but start small because you can be a bit overwhelmed. But when you start to realize, actually it frees you. For me, living zero waste freed me, like it removes so much burden. And obviously I'm not going to get into the fact that we have to live better to consume better, because of course we're in 2021, about to be in 22. Climate change is, a massive threat to humanity. I think it's the biggest threat to humanity. So, but I've been saying this for years. And so, of course, we need to consume better, more conscious, as what you do, what you offer, all the tools we give to people to consume better. That's how it shouldn't be. We shouldn't be exceptional. It should be everyone should have run businesses as we do, mainly in 2021. So the zero waste journey, it's too long to talk. I could talk about it for hours, because for me, it's a gift that keeps on giving. And I have 3 children, and I don't buy clothes. I buy them secondhand, or they're given to me. It's like it's a gift. Things are just simplifying your life. People think it's complicating your life. It might be complicated at the beginning because you need to rethink the way you consume, and you need to put your system in place. But once you have your system, your life is very simplified. And my life is very busy. I have a company to run. I have 3 young children. I have an elderly dog. So it's like, I'm a very busy person. But for me, the zero waste lifestyle is simplifying the chores of my daily life.
I think I like that you mentioned like start small, and like it's a gradual journey and it's freeing. But once it's hard to start, but once you have the system, like what you said, it becomes easier. Like for us, when we started our green journey 9 years ago, we we do with tiny things. We try to do it in a way that, okay, every time we need to upgrade something, then we upgrade. And so it's a long journey. Like for example, because we are practicing zero waste manufacturing. So when people hear about zero waste, it's zero, so it's not logical, right?
Right.
But basically is reducing as much as possible. And for us, one of the things that we look into is our wood waste. So our wood waste used to be around 30%. Like any other manufacturer should normally around there. For wood products, they normally throw away a lot of it. We used to throw it away as well. But when we embark in the journey, we managed to reduce it now to 5%. So, and I'm looking next year we can able to go to 1% or 0%. I'm trying because there are other ways, but it's like how you think about it. And now the system is in place. We practice proactive green system, a system where we created in a way that it looks into all of our process. So not just the material, the glue, the paint that we use, the packaging, and all that. And we look on how each process can be greener, and also the stakeholder, the makers, the community, the media, and all that. And this thing take 9 years to develop. So that's why, like, I agree, it needs to start with something really simple, and once you see benefit of it, you do more and more. And for business, for like me, I see it benefit in term of monetary and the bottom line. So that's why right now we are sharing on how companies can be sustainable but at the same time profitable. It's possible with our knowledge now. And that is what I want to touch next, is on the business itself. Like, how do you see the business and grow the business?
So, first of all, bravo, because coming to zero waste to 5% now of wood, it's amazing. And I can imagine being in that kind of business. It was very hard to get there. So now, how do I see how the business grow? So see, when I started, that was early 2016, which sounds like it was not a long time ago, but uh, what happened within 5 years is extraordinary in a way, because most of the products I was selling, they were unknown to people. See, I was selling bamboo toothbrushes, which now, of course, we sell them in supermarkets and pharmacies, so it's more common. But at the time, it was unheard of. We were selling the metal straws, and I think we became the largest suppliers of metal straws, because at a point, KL went crazy with the Tac Next Straw campaign, which was amazing, and we supplied the metal straw to all the F&B in the city and in the area. That was back in 2017. I have to say, so we grew, we launched products, we introduced citizens. I'm not going to say consumers because it's for everyone really, to all those reusable or compostable options rather than have the single-use plastic, you know. So this came one step at a time, one product at a time. So we started with one store, just for a little journey over the past 5 years. And then we grew to 6 stores within almost 4 years, 3.5 years. And then because of pandemic, and we had to close many stores for a long time, and then we decided we were going to keep them closed. So now we are down to 2 stores. We just closed our third one at the last close down, which was earlier this year, I mean in summer. And then we decided to close that location. And now we are in 2 stores. But what we managed to do is we managed to have a very broad marketplace. We sell a lot on marketplace. So I know a lot of people are going to tell me, wow, the marketplace is evil of the world because, it's a lot of consumerism, it's a lot of shipping, it's a lot of things like that. I do agree to a certain extent. At the same time, here we are we are able to introduce to people who live in really remote places. Not everybody lives in Kuala Lumpur, of course. So we are able to offer and show to people outside of the city that you have options that are more sustainable. So you can get your bamboo toothbrush. You can, and they come obviously in paper packaging. All the products, like if you, let's say you want to get products from the Hive, yeah, it's solid shampoo, solid soap, bamboo toothbrushes, of course, the food. All the packaging is compostable or reused. It's not reusable. It is reusable, but it's reused. So what happens to our place is customers come to our stores and drop their small boxes and all the bubble wrap. I started this when the pandemic started because we were all of a sudden from the day to the next, our business moved from offline to online, and I had no packaging. I had nothing to pack, and I didn't want to buy new packaging, of course. So I had to ask all our customers drop, or I will come with my car and I will pick up the bubble wrap and all those products. So all the packaging we use is already has been used by our customers. It's obviously clean, and we just keep on reusing it. And we have customers, or maybe not even customers, because we are the only solution in Malaysia. We have people who send us boxes of bubble wrap from Penang, from Johor. So we receive a lot. And right now, that's a little anecdote on the side, segue here. We are working with Zalora to see how we can, because I have too much packaging, so how they can as well reuse some of it with their sellers. Because I have a lot of friends who are in e-commerce as well who pick up their packaging from us, but it's not enough. I receive so much. So we just keep on reusing it. So right now we're growing strongly on marketplace, obviously our website, and the two stores are still going well. We are as well in Singapore now, so we are as well in marketplace in Singapore. We used to have a partner, and we're looking for another partner now in Singapore as well for the distribution in supermarkets. That's a bit very shortly. That's a bit where we are now. So we're growing, and what I love, what COVID gave us, because we were very KL, and we were very PJ. Now we are Malaysia. Like people can buy from us. They know us from Shopee and Lazada, and they're based in Borneo. So I'm really happy, when I see this, that you can introduce them. It's education here.
I like that you incorporate the business with community as well, like because like the growing zero waste community in Malaysia right now is growing, and you by having you asking them your customers and also the community to bring you the material, so it becomes in a way a more circular approach as well, because if not, the boxes will be on the landfill. Now it can be reused again as much as it can. And like same for us, like we right now a lot of our boxes are actually from discarded boxes. So like we have like different brand boxes, but what we do, or we try to do is sometimes we turn the box around so that it becomes clear outside, and then because these are also some of the practice that other companies can do, because sometimes they don't want to give the expression that the box, like say my product is food, right, and then I put it in a Maggie box, so they would think that it's Maggie. So by us turning it around, at least it's not confusing the customer, but at the same time we are reusing it. And I think this kind of things, it seems like it's a green principle, and for businesses it makes sense because we don't have to increase our cost. So these are some of the tips that I'm telling people, and businesses should look into, like how can we use sustainable principle to reduce your cost, increase efficiency, or increase profit. because people only think like if you want to do sustainable business, you have to install solar panels, buy expensive machines and expensive raw material, then you can do green products. But actually, it's all these small things that help the company. And once you see benefit, you want to do more and
Right.
more. And that is what happened to us.
That's what
Uh,
happened to us. And people have to understand we have no money. You know,
we need to consume less. The idea is we need to consume less. And
we need to
about the
consume less.
minimal impact. You cannot have zero impact because our existence is an impact itself. But as long as we can minimize it, it's a good move forward. And you've touched a little bit about your challenge as well. And I want to delve a little bit more since like before this, like you see retailers are one of the way for you to move your own shop, but now it's online. How do you see, because of course it's challenging because you have to close the shop, like, but how do you manage that time, that critical time during COVID? Claire, are you there? We seem to have a technical problem with Claire's connection, so I'm gonna try to see if she can go back in and reconnect. Yeah, so I think while Claire is connecting, I would want to touch a little bit about zero waste and how zero waste is one of the things that we as businesses or in our personal life can see it as a strength, meaning like as something beneficial for us. At first, when I think about zero waste, I felt like it's something that is impossible or something very difficult to do. But as time goes by, I see that it's very important for us to actually look into it. And I'm seeing a lot of benefit of zero waste in my company in terms of profitability. We talk about business, right? So Claire, now you're here again. So
Right.
we want to talk more about the challenges. Like during COVID, it's very difficult for you, but how do you go through that?
Okay, so we had many challenging challenges, and COVID was really horrible for us, to be honest. I mean, you can imagine selling plastic-free, package-free food during pandemic time. So on top of it, our store was most of our store were closed. So that was the opposite of our business, the exact opposite. Meanwhile, all the supermarkets were double, triple wrapping, sanitation. And so it was really, really, really challenging. So what we did is we concentrated actually on the non-food items because we could tell for 3 to 6 months people were scared of the unpackaged food. So for 3 to 6 months, we concentrated and we pushed the non-food items, and we sort of like, people who were like, who do I want to try those products, in my house? Mainly, as you know, we're very big on sustainable feminine care. For me, it's my passion, my baby. Period poverty is very, very important to me. It's a very important subject. So introducing reusable feminine care to people who were stuck at home, all of a sudden we could say, hey, why don't you try the menstrual cup? Since you're stuck at home, it's a good time to try, why don't you try the washable sanitary pads? Now we are launching period underwear. So it's good products to try when you are stuck in your house. So on that one, the pandemic was an opportunity for us to tell our customers, hey, you're home. We understand you don't want to unpackage products or packaged food products, but you can try then those kind of things, those items. You can try, since people are cooking now, it's a good time as well to try all our pantry items. We have, as you know, we have the beeswax wrap. We have to wrap all your products, without the ziplocs, without the cling wrap, without the aluminum foils. We offer all those wrappings around for the kitchen that are reusable. So it was a good time to introduce those products rather than just the food. So it was a good way to, as well, it was an opportunity as well to introduce customers to alternative in the kitchen and in the bathroom. I mean, even in bathroom, we even have the toothpaste peel, like you buy them in bulk. But for pandemic time, they wanted the glass jar. But, it's okay. It's just it was a good time to introduce them to new products like that.
I think it's amazing that you see it as an opportunity when everyone see it as a problem, and I do echo that as
Don't
well.
get
Like,
me wrong. It was a really massive, massive,
yeah,
massive
yeah.
problem.
Of course. But I think it's the mindset as well. Like for us, we are affected in a way that all of our distributors are affected. So we have to find ways to be creative. So we manage it ourselves, our own orders and all that. So it's crazy at first, but once you have the system, it's good. And now I think at that time we see the opportunity because more people at home, right? So more people are cooking at home, so we have homeware, so homeware doing well, and we also introduce work from home stuff, so that does well as well. So having challenges sometimes is actually the opportunity for us to be better.
I
and
agree.
and I'm glad that you pointed out about the opportunities. It, of course, it's very difficult. It's a stressful time, but I think it now we are seeing it as something that is beneficial for us. Right now, we have our own online store. Before this, we don't have. So now out of the pandemic, we come out stronger, and I think this is what differentiates someone that sees challenge as opportunity and someone that complains a lot. So I think thank you for the sharing. I wanted to ask you your own personal opinion on like how like green businesses can be more competitive, because like people think that when we do green business we don't have to think, we have to think more about our operation than normal business. When in normal business, you think about maybe 10,000 things, but for green business, you need to think about like 20,000 things. So,
Right.
how do you think like green business can be more competitive?
So green business have to be more competitive because the thing is, the problem with green business, we are usually slightly more expensive. So we remove from our clientele right away. We can get people who can afford us, the middle class who can afford us, who wants to be, but they will make a special effort. That's not what we want. What we want is we want to be, for everyone. We don't want to be more expensive than, that's a thing, right? Green business shouldn't be more expensive. Or then there should be laws, global, international laws where companies cannot pollute, factories cannot pollute, and then we will be equal, right? But here, in your case, that might be a little bit different, and you will speak better about it than I do. But for my case, it is very, very important because, see, for the first 2 years of my business, we were doing very well, but we were only selling to customers who already were educated about it and who could afford us. Because, see, our products, our kitchen and bathroom wear, the food was always competitive. So the food side was always competitive because our distributors are all Malaysian and then they're distributing to the same supermarkets. For me, they just give me the bags that when they're not packaged yet. So they drop at the Hive the 20 kg bags of almond, all those kind of things. But then they package everything in their factories and then they send it to the supermarket. So my prices are the same, if not lesser than supermarkets. So for that, we've been always competitive. But where I was expensive was in homeware, the kitchen and bathroom sections, because I had then all the Aussies, the French, the German, the American brands. And those were pricey and they were adorable. I mean, don't get me wrong, everything was like so pretty, but pricey. So I could only sell it to, millennial hipsters who wanted their menstrual cup. They've heard about it, or their Stojo collapsible coffee cups, their Kit Cup, and all. But I'm like, that's great. But at the same time, I need to be able to sell it to everyone. In order to have really an impact on the planet, you need to sell it to every consumer on in Malaysia. How can I do that? In order to do that, I had to cut cost. So I had to manufacture myself. I couldn't sell the other brands anymore. I still do, because some of those brands are just banana crazy amazing. But I need to be able to be affordable. So I need to sell a product that is about 1/3 cheaper, or sometimes even half of. But then I had to create my own brand to manufacture myself. And that's what I learned building this business here. You need to be able, you can survive if you sell to, I mean, it depends how is your business model. My business model is I want every female in Malaysia to be able to afford my feminine care, my sustainable feminine care. And we made a menstrual cup very, very affordable for the local market. That was the point. I didn't want to sell the Singaporean, the American, the French brands anymore. I'm like, those are too shishi. That's not the point. We need every female to be able to afford us. So, and for people who really, really can't afford us, we have a special program, and 5% of all our sales of feminine care is donated. So that's for really people who can't afford us. But otherwise, my goal is one day to have all the female of Malaysia on our sustainable care.
Nice, nice, nice. I think it's quite aligned to what I've been thinking as well, because when we think about green products, it's always expensive, right? It's always expensive. That's why people don't want to consider buying it, because there is a perspective. And for me, I feel like green products need to be accessible to all. I want my product to be accessible not just to the elite, so to the mass basically. But of course, our brands, we do have the higher end ones where we use like very high quality materials and all that. It caters to a certain needs as well, like hotels and restaurants and all that.
But
But
that's high luxury. Yeah. Yours,
correct, correct.
I mean, of course,
Yeah,
you would pay for that. That's amazing premium wood.
yeah,
The material is super premium. Yeah.
correct. But what I wanted to do was I want it to be accessible to a lot more people, and that is when we put on our thinking cap and we found out a lot of different ways on how you can make sustainable product cheaper. Like one of the things that we do, we have waste, right? So that is when we use our waste to make products. So we have a lot of products that is made from our offcuts. So the material cost is being paid by the bigger items. So now I don't have material cost. I only have working cost, the workmanship cost. So the savings that we created, we pass to the customer. So right now we have, I think, few products that is below 25 ringgit, below 30 ringgit, where it's accessible for people to buy and give as gift. And even though the material is as good, high quality material, like for example, our phone holder,
Right. I love
it,
it. Yes.
it's now our bestseller. We've sold
I'm not
thousands of
surprised.
it. So just because of our zero waste initiative, we wanted to reduce our waste. It created a new revenue stream for us. So that is, I feel like, few ways that we can consider. Look at waste, and then also economies of scale. And that is why I'm doing my activism work. I'm asking more people to join the market, because more it's more right now, like water-based coating. Water-based coating for furniture is quite expensive compared to the non-water based, but it's a lot safer and it's more sustainable. But because it's manufactured in a small bulk, so it's expensive. But if we have a collective of manufacturer who wants to buy it, so they can make in larger bulk, so the cost per unit goes down. So these are some of the things that we need to work together and work into, because like in the this day and age, is you cannot survive alone. You need everyone to be on the same page, working towards the same goal. And I love hearing your stories and your vision, Claire. And I think a lot of us appreciate your sharing. And for our listeners, if you want to contact Claire or see the products, you can look at Facebook and Instagram, the Hive Bug Foods, or you can buy them at their eco store, the hiveecostore.com. Claire, thank you very much for your sharing today. And for the audience, we would like, if you find value in this, or if you know anybody that might benefit from this story, do share with them. And also be part of our community, be part of the solution, because we need more people to be with us in terms of making Malaysia more sustainable or making the world a better place. And this show, The Green Factor, is all about that: getting local stories, local example, and also promoting discussion between industry players, researchers, student designers, and find ways to solve certain kind of issue. Because like there's a lot of issue that is very difficult to discuss. Like for example, like I've been asked a lot about face masks. What do we do with all the face masks that is not cloth one, the single use one? So I don't have that answer because I'm not an expert in that. But we need this kind of question to be thrown around, so that at least if we don't have this question, two of us don't have this question answer, but if 50 people talk about it, at least one or two ideas can solve the problem. So thank you again, guys, for joining the show, and see you next week. And have a green week ahead. Bye bye, guys.
Bye.